Hey everybody, thanks for coming back for another video. Thanks for your subscriptions and checking out and support me. I really appreciate that. So coming to you today, another beautiful day, second day of spring. It's like 60 some degrees out here. So nice. Yesterday was a day just like this. A little tired today because I was out on this beast. I did 5 hours, 50 miles of tight single track, trying to get my speed up. So what we're gonna do today is, as you can see, I've got the new Fox 40 forks on. I was telling you about those in the last video. Took off the D&Ms, sold the D&M forks. So now I have installed the Fox 40s. I have taken a ride with them. I took some footage, I haven't posted it yet, but so I've taken a ride with these. Definite improvement over the D&M USD8 fork. It handles the whoops, so I hit a lot of whoops and I hit them fast. I try to hit them at least maybe 25, sometimes 30 miles an hour on a whoop, which is very fast for a whoop. I mean, you're really, and even still doing that, even with these Fox 40 forks, I'm still, you know, compressing them and bottoming them out. At least I think I am. It's hitting this tire here, it's hitting the controller box, which if the controller box wasn't here, which has my secondary battery in it, it may not bottom out because the ring only usually stops at about right there. So I still have like 3/4 of an inch before it hits the crown here. So if that's bottoming out, I don't know. I didn't technically measure from here to there, but I think it is. So basically what I wanted was a little more stiffness in the fork. So what I've done is I've ordered the Fox 40 yellow spring. And what this spring is, this is the 50 pound per square inch spring. So it's the stiffest spring they have, 50 pounds per inch. So this is a 19-inch long spring. What we have to do is take off the top, pull out the other spring, slide this spring down so you can see about, you know, that's where it's going to be. So I've never done this before. It'll be interesting. So you're going to do something new with me I've never done before today. And we're going to just walk you real quick through the steps. And then when that's done, and hopefully it installs okay, we'll get out on a ride and see how it performs and see what the difference is between the stock spring on the Fox 40 that's currently in there. Now, just a little background information. I've dropped a good amount of weight in these past month. I've been on a little restricting diet. So I'm down to about 185 now, but when you add on the extra stuff that you wear, I'm still back up to around 200 with my pack. My pack's kind of heavy. You know, your helmet, your gloves, your knee pads, all that crap, and your boots, obviously. So I mean, you're still running around 200 pounds. This spring is rated for up to a 250 pound rider. But as you know, this beast is heavy, but it's got to be 185, 190, 200 pounds in that range. So you're already putting a lot of extra weight on these springs and the forks. These forks really weren't designed for a bike this heavy, but hopefully at least with this stiffer spring in there, I will be able to get a little stiffer ride. I won't bottom out so easily because I like to do a little bit of jumping too. All right, so let's start this. So before I get started, just wanted to show you guys what I do to jack my bike up is I use a regular car jack and I put it right under the box here. You just gotta be careful of your hydraulic brake line. You don't wanna pinch that. That would be bad. Because it's really hard because these bikes have a crank with the chain on the other side of your pedals, and there's not like a flat spot that I can use like a dirt bike stand with. The crank gets in the way. You can't put it up on the stand. So I just use a car jack to jack it up because when I pull the spring out of the forks, it's gonna basically, there's gonna be no pressure in the fork to hold the bike up, so it would just drop down. So I'm jacking it up. So one other thing I didn't mention earlier was I actually changed the headset out on this as well when I changed the forks. I wanted a sealed bearing headset, which I put in here, and I'll show you a close-up of that. Just for you guys who've never done this before, there's actually a very specific order. You have to tighten bolts up when you change out your headsets. So make sure you get the order right, because if you don't, you'll have shaking, you'll have looseness in your headsets. You could ask me in the comments, you know, whatever that is, because that's a whole nother video. So to change these forks out, what we have to do is On the left-hand side, your preload knob, you have to turn that all the way counterclockwise till it stops and it doesn't turn anymore. So that's the first step. You have a bolt here. I'll show you a close-up of that. What you have to do is you just have to take that bolt out. Okay, now, Fox says per their specs that you have to have a specific nut, a specific socket tool to remove this bolt. Of course you do. Spend another $35 on your already $1,000-some forks to have a specific tool to change things. I'm like, come on, I'm not spending another 35 bucks or whatever it is to buy just another thing that I'll use once and never use again to take this spring out. So I have two options. You could use a socket wrench. This would be a 1 1/4 or a 32 millimeter socket to take this out. The problem with this, and this is the reason Fox wants you to use another tool, this is a very shallow nut. It doesn't give you much to grab onto. And sockets of this size, almost every one I've seen is camphor, has a camphor on it. So it means, I'll show you a close up. It's got this little lip here and it doesn't go flat to the surface of the nut where you're gonna tighten down on. It's got these little, you know, I'm not, you know, I don't know why they do that. I'm sure somebody would know. I don't know. I don't know. So I could try this because when you put it on there, it does, you see now, it skips off. So I'm probably not gonna be able to do that. So instead of this, here's my big A horror movie wrench. My daughter first saw this, I was like, what do you use that in a horror movie? What the heck, Dad? That thing is gigantic. It's like something you got out of a clown car. But I am going to try to use this to take off the nut and hopefully it works. We'll see, it should work. I don't know. Let's give it a shot. I got to tighten it down right on there. Counterclockwise. This is gonna come this way. Yep, loosens right up. See, I don't need to spend the $35 on a special part. By the way, if you ever seen the Fast and Furious movies, in the last movie, Rock went back to his home in Samoa or wherever that was, I don't remember, but they had a big fight scene, and the one guy used one of these wrenches, and if you've seen this, he's like fighting with it, one hand. Dude, this thing is heavy. There's no way he's swinging this thing around like he did in that movie, hitting just a double-handed swing, and it's still a heavy swing. I just thought that was kind of funny. Yeah, there's a lot of threads on this. Turning for days. And there should be some spring spacers in here. That's what I'm expecting to see. Yeah, it's greasy. Oof, got some oil there. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll try the old trampoline spring puller. That might work better. Remember which way these go in. It's top. That's 1, 2, 3. As I can see, this has the blue spring. All right, so now the next step is to install the spring. But before we do that, Fox recommends you use their thing called slick honey grease. Again, super expensive. I would only use it one time. I'm not gonna buy Fox honey grease just for this. So what I wanna do, what I do have, Bel-Ray waterproof grease. Use this for all kind of stuff on my dirt bike. This is an industry standard. Everybody uses this for dirt bike stuff. It's very high quality grease. You're just gonna do a light coating. I'm gonna put a light coating on this. I can't imagine it's Fox honey grease, whatever. And as with grease, it's just a little dab will do you. You don't have to do a ton. You just want to, you know, get this guy nice and slick. You don't want to put like too much glop on there. It's always a good idea to keep boxes of these, you know, gloves, rubber gloves, nitrile gloves, whatever, around the shop. I use them all the time, constantly. They're pretty much a staple in here. You know, you'll find yourself doing a lot where you kind of don't want to get your hands full of grease because this stuff is hard to get off, believe it or not. And I even use these gloves when I'm like loading the dirt bike up on my rack, because the straps get greasy over time. They get oil on them, and they dirty up your hands. So, you know, I like to keep my gloves clean, everything like that. All right, she's nice and greasy. All right, so I'm gonna drop this in. All right. And then we had 1 spacer, 2 spacer, and 3 spacer. Then that's it. It's easy. Just got to put the cap on and we're done. Just give you nightmares of being at the proctologist. Screw this back in. Out comes the clown wrench again. You gotta be careful. These things will put a lot of torque on that nut, so you don't want to over torque it. That was easy. Now that I've installed that, I'm gonna have to adjust my preload again. I think I had it about, I think it was like 6 clicks out from fully locked in. And man, we'll be ready to test this baby out. All right, so I got it down off the jack. And let's see if I feel any difference. Okay, so yes, when I did that before, this went all the way up here, a good 2 inches higher. I mean, that's a lot of weight I'm putting on it when I jump on it like that. Definitely gonna be better. I'm excited to take it out for a ride and give it a shot.